Football Show is powered by the all-electric Chevy Silverado.
Welcome to the Pro Football Show presented by the Chevy Silverado. Check out the first ever all-electric Chevy Silverado. Visit Chevy.com to build your own Chevy Silverado or the Silverado EV. Boys, the last show of the season, the Super Bowl. Dan, I know we had to process it a little bit last week on the show, but this is the last Pro Football Show with Will Compton. I know you're not happy.
No, I've come to grips with it. We were just saying before, I just came from my therapist. I've come to grips with it, and my therapist was like, look, this Will guy sounds cool, but Gruden and Smoot sound really cool. And I was like, that's a great point. Thank you.
Yeah, like Mr. Therapist, that is a very good point. I will
That's
be
a really
laughing my ass off a lot.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't even know you knew that we had Gruden and Fred Smoot. Thank you, Mr. Therapist.
And Jerry, we have you back this week too. We missed you last week. We need you around to keep Dan's spirits high, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, just a tea time last week, something like football season coming to an end. But big game. But the big game is here. We're super excited. I'm gonna ride for my boys. I know my brother Big Cat has a big future on the Eagles. I'm riding with him.
Yeah.
Jerry, just to give you some advice on being on the receiving end of Big Cat when he goes through his stages of grief. Last week, you could tell he was projecting. He was angered about the fact that he doesn't have you with him. Then it'll get to where, it gets a little more, the messages, the texts are going to get nicer. You'll have one-on-one conversations with them. And then you just realize a couple guys just got to say, hey, bro, I love you. And you just put your arms around each other and hug. That's all that needs to happen.
It is true. Last week I was projecting, I think it was a lot of like seeing Will and being like, Will's leaving me. And I was projecting being like, Jerry better not leave me. I will say this about Jerry. Jerry knows that if he ever left me, I'll just fucking kill him. So
Yeah. I'll put that man walking right now.
Yeah. So that's not going to happen.
No,
there was a little bit of projecting towards Jerry getting to have an early tea time in San Diego during football season. That was more of the issue.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair.
So Dan, you ended up winning by a lot in the records, and so Tom pulled all the guest records too, and like obviously like Gruden and Nick Foles, like a lot of guys went straight up, but even against the spread with all the percentages, you beat everybody, Dan. You're the king.
It's back-to-back years now. Some people are saying that part of Will leaving Barstool is that he can then leave Barstool, watch the Pro Football Show, then copy my picks so that he can have a winning record next year. That's what some people are saying.
We start running a show that comes out on Saturday, and we have to do it Saturday because I have to listen to the Pro Football Show.
Listen, some people are saying that. I don't believe that to be true, but it was a good season records wise. Good season in the playoffs, and I got the Eagles' future going deja vu. Another one, I think 2 years ago it was to win $200K. This year it's only to win $100. So at least it won't hurt as much when Patrick Mahomes rips my heart out again.
Yeah, for the three.
And you parlayed that future with Ohio State, right? That was a parlay.
Yeah. So it was a double. Yeah. So it's like 13-1, I guess, is what the actual number is right now. Is Chiefs 7-1, Eagles 7-1, and Ohio State like even. We got one leg left.
Big time. Okay, well then let's just get into it. I know, Jerry, you have a special video today for Jerry's Picking Zoo presented by Stella Blue. Subscribe at StellaBlueCoffee.com. You save dogs and dollars all year long. Of course, they've got the K-Cups, they've got the coffee grounds, they've got all of it. The cold brew, which happens to be my favorite, the Miss Peaches flavor out now, Dan. So go get that, StellaBlueCoffee.com. Jerry, let's see what you got.
All right, welcome back, Pro Football Show, Jerry's Picking Zoo. Here in the flesh, first time in show history. I know this is presented by Stella Blue Coffee. This is Stella.
Stella.
This is the real Stella.
Stella's here.
Stella in the flesh. She's gonna make her pick first ever pick on the show.
Yep.
Be the last one for the year. This is a big game. Philly versus KC. Big Cat's gonna do the treat. I don't know. Ruffles doesn't like treats. Stella loves treats. Stella loves treats. She loves the treats. She's going to go.
This is a big game.
What do you want her to pick?
I mean, I have a future on the Eagles, so I really need her to pick Eagles, but I'm going to play this straight.
Play it.
Yep, I know. All right, here.
First park in show history.
We're going to try this to play this straight, all right?
Straight up.
All right,
Straight up.
Hey, sit. Hey, sit. All right, stay. Stay.
That's a good girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right to the Eagles! Let's go, Stella! Right to the Eagles!
Straight up. Straight
Look,
up.
she didn't even take the
Doesn't
Chiefs.
even want the Chiefs.
Doesn't even want the Chiefs.
Eagles.
Doesn't even want the Chiefs.
What a play.
Eagles. She's
What a play.
she found the Chiefs. No, she went past the Chiefs. Wait.
She wants more Eagles.
She wants more Eagles.
Double up.
Double it up. Triple it up on the Eagles. You don't even see it. You don't even see it. Look. Hey. Let's see the catch. This is a big one. If she catches this, it's the biggest play ever on the Eagles. All right, because her eyes aren't great anymore. All right. Here. Oh, sit. Yeah, Eagles! Let's go!
Stella of the year. Stella of the year.
Just came through clutch.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's the best
Stella of
one.
the year, so that everybody's with the Eagles now. Because I mean, if Stella's the best girl ever,
Yeah,
so Stella's on it.
She did it. She picked it as straight up as possible. That was there was no funny business. And like I said at the end, like her eyes aren't great anymore, so she misses catches now that she used to get, and she got that Eagles catch. So yeah, big time.
Jerry, that's what you would say are the signs, right? Like, wouldn't
Yes.
that be the signs?
Yeah, that's very similar. Very, very similar.
Very similar. We're rolling with Stella. So the game of the week, obviously the Super Bowl, the Chiefs, the Eagles in New Orleans at the Superdome. The Chiefs -1.5 right now. Dan, I obviously know you have your future on the Eagles, and that's what we all probably want you to get. How concerned are you that Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and this whole gang of Chiefs that seem to just never lose can get this three-peat?
Very concerned. Breaking down the game, I think the Eagles, so it's a mistake to say that this is going to be like the last Super Bowl, because I think the Eagles are significantly better. I do. I think Saquon obviously adds a completely different element to their rushing attack. He's been out of this world good in the playoffs. The Eagles' defense is maybe, younger on the defensive line. Some of those guys, Fletcher Cox retired. Brandon Graham, I don't know if he's going to play. Jalen Carter's been an absolute monster. And then their secondary, Quinion Mitchell is, one of the best rookies that in last year's draft. He's been a shutdown corner. My concern is I think the Eagles are the better team, but it's still Patrick Mahomes, and that's really what it comes down to. I think that the Eagles are going to. I'm interested in what the Chiefs do with Joe Tooney if they keep him at tackle, because you've seen they're not been able to, they weren't running the ball very well against the Bills, and they aren't going to be able to run the ball very well against the Eagles because he's moved to left tackle. They've lost a little something. They were really elite running behind the guards. Now they're not as elite. So will they maybe move him back? I don't know. And I think the Chiefs, here's what it is. The Chiefs' defense, I think, is a little overrated. I think the Chiefs' offense is a little underrated because Patrick Mahomes has something about him in the playoffs where he flips the switch and he's so elite. He was as good as you could get against the Bills. I'm taking the Eagles, not just because of the future, but I think they're the better team. I just hope the Eagles can figure out a way to not have this be Patrick Mahomes with the ball, one-score game with 4 minutes left, because then just rip it up, it's over. That's the difference. It really comes down to that. It's like the Eagles on paper are a better team top to bottom than the Chiefs, but the Chiefs have the best quarterback in the game and the guy who always comes up big late, and no matter what the situation is, he'll find a way. And Andy Reid is a better coach than Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni's a great coach, but you saw it in the Bills game, the AFC Championship game. Andy Reid had a few wrinkles, and Spags had a few wrinkles that the Bills had never seen before, and that's the difference in these high-leverage games. So I'm going with the Eagles. I am not confident because Patrick Mahomes, all he does is win Super Bowls.
Yeah, I saw you were going through it on Twitter when you were like, so anti-Chiefs, which you've been for the last couple of years. And then eventually you were like, well, fuck it. I guess I'm just going to have to root for a three-peat at this point. So where do you stand?
No, I mean, I'm going Eagles. I got to stand on everything I've wanted for basically the last 3 years, and that's the kingdom to fall. I feel like dynasties, they build, they fall eventually. Listen, all of America outside of Chiefs Kingdom is where Dan's head is at. It's the Eagles are deeper. The Eagles are better talent-wise. I feel like it's going to come down to, you're going to get Andy Reid's best. The fact that they're running plays that you haven't seen at all whatsoever to prepare for against the Bills is what makes Andy Reid and that Chiefs organization so great. I think it's a massive game for Kellen Moore. See what wrinkles that they have in there offensively. Because if you go back a few weeks ago to the Packers, where it just seemed like the Packers were dialed on everything that the Eagles were doing offensively, not being predictable, not having the tendencies. Because although the Chiefs defense could be underrated, they do such an incredible job of playing team defense, understanding everything that's going on around them in that Spags coach defense. And they have some guys on the back end. McDuffie just strapping cats down against the Bills last week. Every time Josh was trying him one-on-one, it felt like Big Cat when we were in the cave watching Herbert go after, Stingley for the Texans. Like, McDuffie's just a lockdown corner right now. Justin Reed is a baller in the back end. They have linebackers who can run and hit very well. They're very savvy. They've been in the system for years. That defensive line, Chris Jones, they're going to try to find the mismatch on the offensive line of the Eagles that he can kind of expose. And it's just going to come down to that fourth quarter, man. And I was talking to Dan, too, like before we did the case race. Like, my perfect scenario is that there's like a minute 25 on the clock in the fourth quarter. The Eagles are up by 4 points. The Eagles are around midfield offensively, probably let's say their own 45. The Eagles are on their own 45-yard line. It's 4th and 5. The question, hey, do we go for it? Do we punt? Maybe 4th and 4 to really put the moment on. Do they go for it to try to ice them out, or do they punt the ball with a minute 25 left on the clock to the Chiefs, try to pin them inside the 10 with 2 timeouts left, and let's go see if Mahomes is going to get this 3-peat in a row. Let's see if this Eagles, this number 1 defense, is going to stand up, because they have all the cats in the world to defend this roster, and that's the moment I want to see. If the Chiefs go in 3-peat, I want to see it on the biggest possible moment that we've ever seen, because it will be electric. It'll be historical. It'll be something that's talked about forever. And then if it doesn't and it falls and the Eagles stand up, we're going to be talking about that and remembering that forever. So that is the moment I want to see, but I'm riding with the Eagles.
Yeah, you got to go for it in that scenario. We also
you even think 4th and 5? Because I moved it. If you remember, I was like, 4th and 3.
Give him the
like,
ball.
Oh, you got to go for it.
Can't give him the ball back.
Give him the ball. The other thing is, obviously, we're all picking the Eagles here. I don't know what Jerry's picking, but we should say, what the Chiefs are doing, it's insane. And if they complete this 3-peat, they are the best team ever in NFL history. No one's ever done a 3-peat in the Super Bowl era. So it is nuts to watch what they're doing, and the fact that I don't think a team has ever gotten back to a 3rd Super Bowl after winning the previous 2. So even that is insane. And I'm not rooting for the Chiefs, but I also can take a step back, and if they end up winning this game, realize the greatness that is Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Chris Jones. Chris Jones, by the way, deserves a special shout out, because he's just as important to this dynasty as anyone else. Like, what he's asked to do, the way he was stuffing that Josh Allen sneak, everything goes with Chris Jones. And he's the quarterback on defense, in the fact that you need Chris Jones in the fourth quarter to make 2 or 3 impact plays that change the outcome, and he does it time and time again. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, this is bullshit or the rigged stuff. Chiefs are insane, and if they do this, they deserve to be in football immortality for being the best team of all time, the only team that 3-peats a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and all the conversations about will there ever be another Tom Brady? Obviously he did it over multiple decades and did it with 2 different teams, but like Patrick Mahomes, he's already in the conversation, I think. But if you win 3 in a row like this, especially at his age, like, it is a very fair thing to just recognize that greatness, even if people have Chiefs fatigue.
Right.
Jerry,
Yeah,
how you feeling?
Jerry.
I feel good. I feel really good. I think this game is won in the trenches. And, it's funny. I was talking to Rusty's agent, and me and her were talking, and we were just saying to each other, could you imagine Russ behind an offensive line like that? And I think if you put Russ on the Eagles, and I don't want to make this show a Russy show, but if you put Russ on that Eagles team with that offensive line, I think you got the same result. I think he's going to the Super Bowl. But anyway, I think that offensive line is legit. I think they're going to figure out a way to limit Chris Jones. I know he's great. I know he's impactful, but I think first things first, you got to find a way to take him out of the game. And what the Eagles have done this year, similar to the Chiefs, what they do is they take away your best player. You know what I mean? So I think this game is one in the trenches. I have a question for Dan.
Yeah.
I need this answered. Year after year, how do you pick the Super Bowl winner? Because it seems like you're in it every year. And you pick it early. You pick it early.
This one was a little later. I have been in it every year because 2 years ago I had Eagles 22-1. They went to the Super Bowl. Last year I had the Ravens 20-1. They went to the AFC Championship game, had a home field advantage. This year was a little later. This was before the playoffs started. I was like, I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. That was just based on the Lions' injuries, and I didn't believe in the Packers or the Vikings. I should only bet futures. But again, I don't win them. I haven't won a football one.
I think it changes this year. I do. As much as I love, I've grown to actually like Mahomes. I don't love him, but I've grown to like him a lot and respect him. But I think the Eagles, I think Dan's right. I think they're just the better team all around, receiver, line. The only place that they're not better is quarterback.
Yeah, which that's pretty important.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I don't know.
But it's not like Jalen's some just like slouch of a quarterback either.
No, he was really good in the NFC Championship game,
Right.
and he was, I do think he'll have success. I think it's going to be a big Dallas Goedert game. He's so underrated. He's been such a beast. I think he leads the Eagles in receiving yards in the playoffs. So I think he's going to be a big part of this game plan for Jalen Hurts. And we'll see. I mean, Jalen Hurts has 2 weeks off. If he's healthier, he can run a little more. I think the Eagles are better. It's just Patrick Mahomes. He's just going to rip our heart out.
And the Eagles are just that king time of possession team too. Like they're built to bleed you out in time of possession. It's run game. They have the guys on the outside. They have the guys on the perimeter. They have Goddard that can equalize you. And it's just like, I don't see how the Chiefs beat them, but that's kind of the story of the Chiefs. Like even last year against the Niners, Niners defense, run game, all the things that have to make a Super Bowl champion. But the Chiefs just always find a way. And to go back to on the Chris Jones thing, I think it's like no matter what I'm going to say, it's rigged if the Chiefs win. But being able to appreciate what the Chiefs done, like even on that story of Chris Jones, there's a couple years ago, right, where he was holding out because he wanted to get paid how he should get paid, and he's betting on himself to prove what a valuable asset he is to the team. And I think if they do win, it's like even for both of those parties to sit back and be like, Chris Jones made the right move, and the Chiefs realizing like, hey, this was the right move to have him back and have him with us the entire time. It's just those things will be really cool. But however, if the Chiefs do win, I will be saying it's rigged.
I'm very nervous what I just saw on the screen because Tom just pulled up a hot take that looks like it's like 4 months old.
Oh,
I have no idea what he's about to play for us, but it's making me nervous.
From this show. It's a
Yeah.
hot take from this show.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So it's good.
Play it for us. So it's a good one. So that means it's from me, not Will. And then my hot take is the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl.
That's your hot take?
Yeah.
They're like the favorite.
Let me ask you a question. Has anyone won 3 Super Bowls in a row?
I remember that.
Patriots should.
Never happened. That's a pretty hot take. To predict something to happen that's never happened? That's as hot as you can get. Cowboys have missed the playoffs. In their history, have they not?
Yeah.
In the history of the NFL, no team has won 3 Super Bowls in a row. I just predicted it.
You're right.
I love whenever you.
That's hot. That's hot.
Just silent.
Dave, has it happened? It's never happened.
Never happened. No, it's never happened. It's never happened.
It's never
It's a
happened.
hot take.
Have the Broncos been frisky before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The Texans have never won.
That passes
I guess
your hot take check.
Yeah, Dave and I had the hottest takes.
Okay.
He's just admitting defeat now. He just read
I trapped him. I trapped my
Look,
guy.
they're like the favorites. Oh, I've never won 3 in a row.
It's
No.
from like
Gotta warm up a little.
After this. We'll reevaluate.
there's a lot of football left.
Watch some tape. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's from like September probably.
That was surviving week.
Yeah,
That's
so
week
it's
one.
that was week 1.
That was our predictions for the full season.
Oh.
And
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys looked way too happy for that to have been surviving
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
Surviving week, everybody dragged ass in there like they wanted to just absolutely die.
I mean, listen, it was a hot take because it's never happened before. And some of us on this panel, some of us on this panel predicted the Broncos to win the AFC West, which I don't know why he keeps doing it. I on today's Pardon My Take on January 31st, we actually already declared the Chiefs the winner of the AFC West in 2025, so that's already set. So credit us, we had it first. But yeah, listen, the Chiefs. I had a tweet from, it was like around Christmas, so it's obviously like I'm not looking for credit because they were the 1 seed, but I just basically said, I was like, the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl again. The quicker people just come to grips with this, the quicker we can move on. And
You did.
that's just the reality of it. And I bet the Bills like a fucking moron. I didn't listen to my past self because
And
we
not
fight
only that-
against it. We try to find all these angles and they don't score 30 points and they struggle. And they get to the playoffs and they do what they do every year.
And they scored 30 points. They started coming alive. New wrinkles, new everything. You even to add on to that, you painted how the entire AFC was going to unfold. They're like, look, they're the 1 seed. They're going to get the worst team out of this game.
Yeah.
Like it's set in stone. It's over. They're going to be fresh playing the Bills or the Ravens.
Yeah. They only had to win 1 game. They had to win 1 game. They have to win 1 game every year, basically. It's the AFC Championship game. Then they're in the Super Bowl.
Dan, I know you've had your go around with these fans, but it is crazy. Like, I mean, and people want to roll their eyes, but like you've got the Taylor Swift voodoo going now, and like she just entered the NFL last year, and she could have 2 Super Bowls. Like it's just like I know the script writing thing is kind of tired at this point, but like the script writers are going crazy with Taylor Swift.
I mean, imagine if you were a draft pick from the Chiefs in 2022. I think George Karlaftis was one of them. I can't remember who else was in it, but those guys have never lost a playoff game. Think about that.
Wow.
McDuffie, Karlaftis, Sky Moore, those guys have Leo Chenal, Badger. Those guys have never lost a playoff game.
Golly, that is so incredible.
Just
So good to be them, dude.
Yeah.
Do you think if they lose, let's say they lose in the Super Bowl, do you think it could just fuck them up to the point of
No.
maybe not getting back? No, right?
No, they'll be,
I think so. I think that's a good point, Jerry.
I think that,
I think that they lose this game, they're done.
listen,
That's
they've-
what Will hopes and prays for.
They've already flipped a roster, though. Like, that's the thing is, like, you could be like, oh, well, some of these guys are getting older and they can't play forever. As long as they have 15, as long as they have Mahomes, they'll be in the mix. Their first Super Bowl was all offense, no defense. It was Tyreek Hill. It was throwing the deep ball. They've completely flipped their roster already, 1 time. And so why can't they do it again as long as you have Mahomes?
Yeah, true.
Hey, in your guys' opinion, do you think if Pat gets his 3rd one in a row, say he wins another one, do you think there's ever a point to where he's the GOAT no matter what?
I think the three-peat will hold. It's like almost an extra Super Bowl because it's never been done. You know what I mean? Like that, a three-peat. It's almost like if the Patriots had finished their undefeated season, like that would have been. You could have been like, well, that they had they went 19-0. Like that's different. I think when you get to history stuff like this, a three-peat definitely feels different than if the Chiefs just won every other Super Bowl for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah. Three-peat's never been done. It's insane. It really is insane. It's so hard to get back there and to get back up on the mountain and have everything go your way and win all these playoff games. Again, 2022 draft class, never lost a playoff game. That's fucking insane. Patrick Mahomes,
would you crown Mahomes over Brady? They get this three-peat?
No, I think there's still stuff to be. There's still. You still got to see how the rest of his career. Like if he never wins another one, like how could you say that? But I do think that. The three-peat does add a little extra juice where it's like, and also Dave was saying this on the Name Show. I mean, Brady did beat him twice, in a Super Bowl and an AFC Championship game. So, so he has that. But yeah, I mean, and Andy Reid is getting close to the conversation because Andy Reid, if he keeps coaching for the next, say, 5 to 7 years, he'll probably have the most wins of all time of any coach. And if he has 4 Super Bowls, a three-peat, like that kind of stuff, taking 2 different franchises to a Super Bowl, like his resume is starting to stack up and get pretty insane.
And I do think that like Tom being able to go to the Bucks and do it too, like that. I mean, obviously the dynasty with the Patriots was crazy, but the fact that he was then able to just go win another one with a completely different franchise without Bill Belichick, like that will always be there. And the fact that he was in his like mid 40s, but obviously Patrick Mahomes enters the conversation easily with a three-peat, but I think he's got a lot more that he would have to do to overtake Tom.
Right. Exactly.
And no matter what, Tom has the Super Bowl over him when they went head to head on a completely different franchise.
Yeah.
And it's true too. Like Andy Reid, like I know we're talking about him getting in the conversation, but I think he's there. Dude, the stuff you hear about him through just the way the players talk about him. There's no like cheap sway. There's no like everyone loves playing for Andy Reid. The fact that he's done it with 2 franchises is incredible.
Yeah, it really
It's
is.
wild. It's wild. Okay, let's go to Fireball. For the Fireball segment this week, it is hot takes. So if you guys have any Super Bowl hot takes, of course, we've loved Fireball all year. Grab your football buddy, buy around, reignite that rivalry flame. Fireball, I mean, nobody's taking a shot right now, but I assume on Super Bowl Sunday, there will be a lot of Fireball shots taken. Dan, do you have maybe a prop bet?
Yeah, I got a crazy one. Let Will go first because I got to find the exact odds on DraftKings for this.
Okay, Will, do you have anything hot take-ish for the Super Bowl?
I mean, not hot take-ish. Obviously, it's going to be all Eagles. I'm going to say Saquon rushes for 200 yards. He's the MVP. He gets the overall season record for rushing yards. And yeah, all Saquon Barkley. I think this is a massive Saquon Barkley game.
Yeah, he's a monster. Jerry, you got anything?
Yeah, I got a hot take. Travis Kelce retires after this game.
Ooh.
Win or lose?
On the field?
Not on the field, but win or lose, yeah.
I saw I see like the Swiftie girls and Dave and all that. It'll pop up on my Twitter when talking about. I saw that there's like a whole written in the stars Disney movie storyline where it's like they win, the confetti's falling, he proposes to Taylor, and then they ride off in the sunset. Which wouldn't be crazy at this point, but then he would retire.
I don't know if the Swifties would like that though.
What else does Trav have left to accomplish? Like he's been in the game so long. He's had the best career of arguably anybody of all time.
Yeah, I mean,
as in like fame and being like a face. Not saying like he's the greatest player of all time, but yeah, he's had arguably a career that anybody would love to have that's ever played the game.
The only thing
and now
I would
he's with
say,
the most famous woman on the planet.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say though, if let's say they do win, what in a way, why wouldn't he return? Because they'll probably just end up back there again next year. But I don't know. I think he's done. I don't know. I think he's done.
All right, I found it. And this is a sprinkle, but 22-1. I feel like the Eagles have been flirting with this. 22-1. Will there be a kickoff return for a touchdown?
That's quite a hot take.
Sprinkle. It's a sprinkle.
That is a hot
I'm gonna put a
take.
sprinkle on it. I'm gonna put a sprinkle on it. But the Chiefs, they've had some nice returns. Or sorry, the Eagles have had some nice returns. I don't know. That'd be pretty crazy. Also, the league, if we're gonna go Will Compton, everything's rigged. Down a rabbit hole. New kickoff rules. There's been some people being like, "Oh, we don't like this. Go back to the old rules." Get a kickoff return in the Super Bowl, the biggest game. All these rules are working.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I see it. I see the vision.
I don't know.
The prop bets are some of the best parts of the Super Bowl. Like you obviously have the game itself, but then you've got the commercials and the prop bets. And if you're going to go put one, do it on DraftKings because we're going to get into the survivor pool. Dan, you won that too. So congratulations. But if you, of course, naturally, but if you want to put in some prop bets or just some bets on the Super Bowl, obviously the clock is ticking. New customers, if you bet just $5, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Use promo code PRO. Again, $5 gets you $200 in bonus bets instantly on anything. If you want to jump in on the kickoff return, do it. And Dan, you won. You won again.
Won again. That's what I do. Keep winning. I don't know what I got to talk to Jack McCarthy about what my free bet is. What is it?
I know we haven't ever put an actual number on it, but
I think it was $1 million. I think it was $1 million.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you're like the kind of the boss here, so you could probably just set whatever you want.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it was $1 million.
So Jerry and Will are tied, and I was told to ask you, do you want to do a second place bet and make them pick against each other?
Yeah. Do a second. Yeah, I want to see them go against each other. I kind of want to see just what it's like, watching two guys, fight over the last scrap. I'm already eating. I basically threw my steak bone on the floor and let them go try to grab it.
You're like a king watching gladiators right now. You're just like, dance for me, puppets.
Yeah.
So boys,
how do we go against each other here? We're both on the Eagles.
No, prop bet. Favorite prop bet.
Oh, prop bet. You want to do a coin toss?
I was gonna. That was actually my prop bet. I was gonna pick heads.
Okay, I'll go tails.
Will won. I always bet a lot of money on tails.
Will won.
Yeah, it's on DraftKings. You can find it on
Yeah.
DraftKings. It's actually there's no juice, so it's plus 100, plus 100. Yeah, I love your pick, Will. That's a good pick.
I love it too. Start of the game, top of the game. Will versus Jerry, second place.
I'm gonna put a lot of money on it right now, Will.
Jerry, what made you pick heads? I feel like everybody normally just not everybody, but tails is usually the go-to.
I'm with Dan. I pick tails all the time, every single year. I'm just gonna go against it and try to find a win.
Okay.
Jerry's
Will
going
out with an L,
against it
huh?
all. It's going tails this year. It's going Eagles this year. It's all going to flip the other way.
All right, boys. Well, anybody want to say anything to Will? I mean, I know everybody will be in New Orleans next week, but say bye for the last time on this show.
No. I feel like the more it gets talked about, the more I feel like somebody died. Dan and we had a nice little moment at the end of the case race, I think, if I can remember correctly. But that felt good. We said bye last week. The goodbyes suck. Shout out Tom, everybody in the back end, Casey, Jerry, Dan. I love you guys. I think Dan loves me back and you guys love me back. But the goodbye stuff, I feel like somebody's died at this point.
Yeah. No goodbyes. Just a see you later. Also, shout out all the producers on this show. I know they're pretty happy that Will's not going to be doing this anymore because he didn't learn any of their names. All he had was Tom there. That's all you got? Tom? That's it?
This is where I'm in the classroom. The teacher calls on you and you just start going blank. Like, I don't know.
Oh, but
All right,
thank
we'll
you,
miss
everyone.
you, Will, but everybody will be in New Orleans next week. And Dan, hopefully you win your future.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You just turned 40 years old. You deserve it.
I do, but I probably won't.
All right. See you guys later.
See you guys.